Hello everybody, welcome back to Life Stories. My name is Trent and I hope you're doing awesome as always. Today we got more stories from, you guessed it, Reddit/idontworkherelady. So buckle in, because we're getting started now. Our first story is titled, I keep being confused for a FedEx employee because I use their paper cutter often and end up teaching others how to use it. Kind of a long title, but hey. This is not really an interesting story, but why not just post it here? Since my work requires me to move often, almost every year, I never invested in a quality printer and industrial paper cutter, which could be heavy to lug around. So I often use FedEx Office when I need to print and cut, since in the end it's more affordable that way. I'm not sure why, but almost every time I use the paper cutter, which are out in the open for the public to use, people seem to always think I'm an employee, despite normally wearing jeans and a black graphic t-shirt or flannel. One day, after this happened 3 times already, a guy wearing a Taco Bell shirt came up and asked me to help him with shipping packages. I was listening to music, so didn't pay attention till he kept waving his hand in my face. I tried to ignore him, hoping he would go away. Finally, I just pretended to notice him and said, "Oh, are you here with my food delivery? It was 3 tacos and a Baja Blast, right?" He looks confused, and I continue. "I already paid through the app with my card, but you can just leave the food here. Thanks." I think he was just more confused and thought I was a crazy person, and slowly backed away and found a real employee to talk to. Over the last year, I got used to this and just ended up helping people with their cutting, since normally it's a little old lady who needed yard sale flyers cut or something like that. About a few months ago, in the FedEx office of the town I just moved out of, which had a nice immigrant owner who liked that I often helped explain to other customers how to use their cutter, printers, and laminator, since it allowed them to focus on packages. I come in around before 5 p.m. This location today closed at 7 p.m., but the employee, who was a college student, grumbled when I came in and noticed I was doing printing. He told me, "We're closing early today. I need to close up by 6 p.m. I understood and rushed to get my printing and cutting done as fast as possible. I was the only customer in the store. It was just this employee, another young employee in the back I could hear but not see, and what looked like one of their friends who was hanging out behind the counter and not in uniform. Seeing I was the only customer there for the next half hour, I kept being reminded every 5 minutes that they were closing, and I needed to be out by 6 p.m. I guess they thought they could close up early, so I somewhat understood their frustration. I was the only thing keeping them from doing this, so I rushed as fast as I could through the cutting. At about 5:30, an older lady came in and got a box of prints from the counter and realized they weren't cut. And though she requested this, the employee told her it wasn't part of the service. They were closing soon and wouldn't be able to do the cutting in time, but there was a public paper cutter currently being used by another customer, me, she could wait for. I guess he was trying to say I would hold her up, but there were 3 paper cutters and I was only using 1. I moved my stuff aside to give her space. I noticed her boxes were full of wedding invitations, and she had trouble using the paper cutter and kept messing up her trashed ones. I decided to offer to help and cut some of her stuff. She was very grateful. After about every 10 sheets, I would slide the cut paper into the trash can on the side of the counter before doing more cuts. Soon, the employee came and took the trash bag out. He didn't put a new bag in. Because I didn't want to make picking paper out of an unbagged bin a chore for him, I had to keep walking across the store to the only other trash can, which took up a lot of time. I got the lady's invites cut, and she thanked me, and the store, I think she also assumed I was an employee, and left. And now I only had 10 minutes to finish my work. The employee just stared intently at me and kept saying, "We close in a few minutes, you need to wrap up." So I rushed as much as I could. 5 minutes till closing, I realized I wouldn't be able to finish my cutting today, so I started packing up. By now, there was a huge pile of paper scraps in the corner, and a lot came from other people who were there before me today. But the rest, I admit, were from my cutting from the lady's invites and my stuff. If there was a trash can I could slide the paper in, that would have been easier. But not wanting to leave a mess, I tried to pick up as many scraps as I could and walked over to the trash bin about 3 times trying to clean up. Yes, much harder since little scraps kept falling and I had to bend down to pick them up. Finally, it was 6 p.m., and the employee yelled, "You need to go." I was halfway to the trash can and really felt like I should have dropped it on the floor, but not wanting to be that guy, I placed it in the back of the paper cutter counter since it was closer to the trash can, got my stuff, and walked out. As soon as I left, the employee yelled for me. I thought he was calling me because I left my phone or to thank me for helping that lady earlier. He wore a more calm but WTF face and said, "Really, man? You aren't going to clean up your mess?" I say, "I was trying to. I always do when I come here, but you kept saying I needed to leave by 6 p.m. I was in the middle of cleaning up when you told me it was 6 and I needed to go. Sorry, I was just following your orders." Yeah, I'm quiet-voiced and shy, so we weren't confrontational, but I just turned and left shaking still since he was a foot taller than me. Not really an interesting event, I could understand why he was upset, but I was still annoyed he was treating me the entire time like I was delaying him from closing up early. At a FedEx that had specific hours, of all things. Then tried to play innocent, overworked employee when he tried to make me feel guilty for leaving a mess when he was the one who yelled at me to leave in the middle of cleaning up. I moved out of that town 2 weeks later, so never had to deal with that store again. You know what? Kind of uneventful, but hey, we got someone helping out an old lady, and the old lady was pretty decent, so kind of a win-win. Moving on, our next story is titled, "This is the weirdest I don't work here that I've ever experienced." So, I dispatch roadside assistance for a motor club. No, not that awesome one you're thinking of. Their crappy competition. Yeah, that's my job. This occurred a couple of weeks ago. Time to meet the cast. Me, you guessed it, me. Valerie, a lovely young lady just trying to do her job. Damien, a co-worker and friend of mine who's part of the same guild as me in not one, but 2 different MMOs. So, it's my day off, and I'm chillaxing at the crib, surfing the net and posting on various forums when my phone rings. I answer it like, "Hello, suddenly Hanabi." "Hello, this is Valerie from company that competes with mine and is somehow even lower on the totem pole. I have a customer in a box truck who's broken down with a flat tire. I was hoping you could help." I've been doing my job far too long. My brain instantly shifted into customer service mode, and Pavlovian conditioning took over. Full-on phone voice and everything. "Okay, I might be able to help with that. What kind of box truck?" 2001 Isuzu NPR. "The Isuzu NPR," I said, closing a tab in YouTube and opening 2 tabs, one for Google, one for findtruckservice.com. That ought to be like 235 80R18 tire, right? They got a spare? No, they need a tire delivered and installed. Okay, that's not too tall an order. That's a pretty easy tire to get. What zip code is the customer in? Valerie told me my city's zip code. Well, no kidding, that's my city of residence, I said as I entered Find Truck Service. We got some good outfits around here. I can find you the names of the numbers of a few good prospects. "Isn't tire delivery what you do?" she asked me, confused. No, I said. "I'm roadside assistance dispatcher, just like you, I imagine, at my company. But I'm not on schedule today. This is my day off. You got me on my personal cell. I'm not working today." Valerie paused for a long moment. "Okay, so why are you trying to help me?" "Because I'm damn good at this. Now, do you want these phone numbers or not?" Sure." So I give her some recommendations and hung up and returned to my hectic schedule of drinking and fishing in Terraria. About an hour and a half goes by, and my phone rings again. I answer it. "Hello?" "Hey, this is Damien at our employer. I'm seeking help with the tire delivery for a box truck in our city of residence. Can you provide assistance?" Apparently the customer's insurance hadn't come through for her, and she called her aftermarket warranty line. "Dude, Damien, it's me, Suddenly Hanabi. We work together. We have a raid planned for tomorrow?" "Wait, what?" he asked me. "Yeah, man, you caught me on my personal cell phone," I told him. "I'm drinking beer and watching—" I stopped, remembering all our calls were recorded. "Documentaries." "No way," he said. "Way," I answered. "And get this is the second call I've gotten about this today. What in God's named company are you trying to get a hold of? What number are you dialing?" He named a local outfit I'm not familiar with, which probably means they're pretty trash, and reeled off a phone number that wasn't even close to mine. I told him that, and he told me that on their main menu, the option for a mobile mechanic was option 4, and he hit it, and the call just automatically went to me. Obviously, their previous mobile technician had the same cell number at one time that I currently use, and I'd have to call that service provider and have them sort it out. I confirmed we were still on for the Wednesday raid, and we hung up. I didn't need to recommend him to local companies. Damien is just as good as I am at what we do, and he has every resource that I do. I just turned my phone off for the rest of the day, and drank and played video games, and watched my documentaries in peace. I've since made 3 phone calls to the wrecker service and asked them to stop routing their mobile mechanic calls to my phone number. I think they fixed it, because I haven't gotten any more since. It's just the weirdest I don't work here lady story, because I work really adjacent to there, and it's just a freak chance that they brought their phone calls to me. This is one of those situations where you really gotta ask yourself, just what are the odds of something like this happening? This is one of the weirdest stories I've read, for sure. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for tuning into Life Stories once again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Reddit content we got cooking up coming your way. And you know it by now. I hope to see you guys soon.